Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube universe, what is going on with you on this Saturday afternoon? It is Saturday, April 13th, 2024, roughly 3 p.m. California time. I am, of course, your always gracious host, Fallon from GoNootropics.com, coming at you with the Yogi Positive Energy. Cheers. Good to see all of you rolling through. Today is day number 1. No nicotine. Ran out of nicotine last night and said to myself, you know what? Let's just give it a go, baby. Let's give it a go and see if we could kick the senseless habit of the nicotine pouches. You know, I'm trying to solve some of this acid reflux that's been coming up into my throat. Now, I don't get a lot of the typical acid reflux symptoms like the heartburn, indigestion, things like that, but it does feel like I wake up or just kind of throughout the day, depending on what I've ate or what I've drank, I feel my throat go hoarse. It's a problem that I've had for a long time. My throat will just go hoarse. My voice begins to feel weak. And, you know, this could, if you dig into the research, this could be a function of acid reflux, acid coming up into the esophagus, or it could be a function of the underactive thyroid, baby, which I think I might have, right? I think I might have, which I'm treating with the iodine, selenium, and a few other things, and things do seem to be getting better. Even though, yeah, I have been waking up in a hypothermic state, waking up in just, you know, feeling like a Mack truck has hit me in the morning, feeling cold, having that, you know, 95.6 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, waking up in the morning, which is very cold and would suggest the underactive thyroid. But, you know, little by little, things are starting to progress here. We're going to give up the nicotine and see if I could get this hoarseness to kind of solve itself. Like sometimes I'll go to do a video and my voice is so dang hoarse that I just say, screw it. I'm not even going to do a video today. But today seems to be a pretty good day. So we're here trying to kick the nicotine, trying to kick it with some niacinamide, which is pretty good for nicotine withdrawal. I've used it in the past to some success. The NAC, I've used the NAC in the past to some success with nicotine withdrawal. It's not going to take away all the cravings, but those two are pretty good in just trying to keep your mind off the very often very intense cravings of nicotine withdrawal. So yeah, the niacinamide and the N-acetylcysteine, which is also good for just general neuroticism. You know, if you're a neurotic person, I've always taken NAC because I've always been a somewhat neurotic person, right? Just neurotic, just kind of the brain is glitched out. You're not thinking clearly. You're just, you know, some days I don't check my mail for like months at a time. It's like just these little neurotic things, and I could give you hundreds of examples of things like that. That's like normal people do. It's like normal people check their mail every 2 or 3 days. They're checking their mail. I hate checking the mail. I don't want to check the mail. Usually nothing good comes from checking the mail. And so I just don't do it. It piles up. And then I got to go down to the post office because my mailbox is so dang full. So it's like little things like that, like little neurotic things like that I think prevent success for a lot of people. If you are like a neurotic person If like the worst case scenario for success is pretty much if you're neurotic, low energy, right? If you're very neurotic in the head, and also dealing with like really low energy, maybe a depression, maybe a thyroid problem. So you have this combination of very high neuroticism with very low energy. Like that's a recipe for failure. And you might find like I have many times before that you're like barely functioning in this world, right? It's like you're just barely functional enough just to get by, but it's like you can't ascend beyond this little plateau that you've carved out for yourself. You know, the other day I fixed my boss's audio receiver and just refluxed a couple of the chips, which is no big deal, which is like not really a big deal. I've done it before. I can do that type of stuff and soldering, and I do have a background in IT. I've lost a lot of my clients, a lot of my old clients, just because my past alcoholism and kind of over time just being more neurotic. And I have these skills. I have these skills that I can use, and even my boss and people will tell me, they're like, look, you're too smart to kind of be in the situation that you're in. And it's really not about being smart at all. It's not about how smart you are, what skills you have. It's how neurotic you are in this world, right? You could have the skills, you could have all these things, but if you're a highly neurotic person, and it doesn't matter if you're neurotic, and it's hard for you to function in this world because it might be hard for you to interact with people, or you don't have energy, you don't have the output, right? It's like really successful people, they have good hormones, right? They've got the functioning thyroid, they've got the functioning endocrine system, and this provides them with the necessary output. They're very low neuroticism, but you could have all the skills in the world, but if you're neurotic, you don't check your mail, you let the mail overflow, you have all these little neurotic things that you do. You don't pick up the phone, you don't like talking to people, you can't communicate with people, you don't have the energy to do so. Well, you can have these skills, but it's going to be hard for you to progress in this world if you don't kind of fix that underlying neuroticism that will hold you back, So this is another reason why I went to booze, went to kratom, because it's like I'm treating this underlying neuroticism that holds me back. I'm treating this low energy that has been holding me back. And it's not something you could easily explain to people. Like, some people might look at you and really be confused. Like, why is this person in where they are? Why is this person so low on the totem pole because they're so smart? Maybe you get the same thing. People just kind of asking you questions like, what's going on with you? You're smart, you're capable. But the reality is, it's like, how do you explain to them that you have this level of neuroticism that prevents you from moving forward? People just don't get it. And when you're kind of strange like this, you're strange. It's like it prevents you from connecting with like normal people because they really can't understand. You could try to explain it to them, but like a normal person is never going to understand. So you just kind of end up reclusing because it's like explaining yourself over and over and over again. Well, first of all, nobody wants to admit that they're a very neurotic person. It's like you don't admit it for the same reasons you don't admit to people that you're using, that you have an addictive habit, that you're using this or you're using that. It's just because people will judge you. you know, and luckily many of us can kind of mask it pretty good and and get by. But some people do pick up on it. Like some people I know do pick up that, okay, there's something a little bit going on here, and you just, that really wears you down. And I think it's got something to do with like the stress response. And you eventually just burn your adrenals out just trying to keep plowing forward, So it's like, what do you do? You have to solve this problem somehow. And it's like the drugs really aren't the solution. So maybe the iodine and the selenium and the NAC and some of these B vitamins, can help. Maybe quitting a lot of these things, quitting the kratom, quitting the nicotine, quitting the stimulants, anything you could do to, right, raise thyroid level, reduce neuroticism, if you could just move the needle just a little bit and begin to heal, you could start progressing forward just step by step. But yeah, it's like this neuroticism really, I think, really holds a lot of people back. And it's sad because there's a lot of dumb people out there doing better than us. A lot of dumb people just doing really good because they're very low neuroticism. And is it fair? Well, who cares if it's fair or not? It just is what it is. Life isn't fair, but if you want to progress, you do have to figure out a way to lower the neuroticism and increase energetic output, increase thyroid hormone, increase testosterone, increase endocrine levels in the endocrine system, and start feeling good. And hopefully heal from all this damage that we've done to ourselves over the years. I think a lot of us are just in this constant fight or flight mode, and we're just kind of shut down. It's like the adrenals have been pumping for so long, and you're just burnt out, you're neurotic, and you're just like barely hanging in there. You're at the bottom rung of the ladder, just barely hanging on. And so it's like, how do you fix that? Well, it's a problem we all got to solve. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the video of the day. Day number 1, no nicotine. Hopefully I could keep the train rolling on this. As always, Fallon, go nootropics.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you very soon. Peace.